The richness that belongs in this week's Sidra Re'eh is so overwhelmingly powerful that to pick apart all of the strands that can be found in the Torah portion would take a lifetime to do. We're just going to look at two today. One of them takes place in the 12th chapter, the 19th verse of Re'eh, where it says, Lo ta'azov et Levi, do not abandon the Levite. Why would the Torah want to remind us to make sure that we care for the Levite? Because the Levite is dependent upon us. They did not inherit a share of the land like everybody else did after leaving Egypt, traversing through the desert, and then making it to the promised land. They were solely dependent on the goodness of the regular Israelites for their own welfare, that if the Israelites were to neglect them, if they were to forget them even for a moment, they would suffer and perhaps even perish. A gross reminder to us who live in this day and in any era that we are our brother's keeper, that we are so responsible for one another that we cannot for a moment turn our eyes away from the suffering, from the call of help, not just when it occurs, but anticipating when it occurs, when it will happen, and then reacting quickly. Now contrast that to the beginning of the Torah reading, which says, Re'eh, look, Natati lifnechem, I've put before you. Now what is interesting about those words is Re'eh, look, is in the singular. And the rest of the Torah portion, throughout in its entirety, it's in the plural. But Re'eh stands alone as directed to you and you alone. Look, I've placed before all of you blessing and curse, but you need to pay attention. You need to look very carefully at what is before you. You are solely responsible for your own eyesight. You must help other people, but if you want to see things, you can only see them with your own eyes. That can't be done by proxy. We are responsible for our brothers and sisters, but we can hardly be considerate of what their needs are if we don't first understand who we are, where our feet lie. Our responsibility is to open our arms to God, to open our mind to the sublime, to be a part of the great cosmos that God has gifted to us and all the mitzvot that come as an aggregate with that. And then once we have realized our position in the world as responsible for all the blessings and the curses, only then do we really understand what it means to have empathy for another human being. Wishing you a beautiful Shabbos with grace, joy, and love. Celebration of you and celebration of all of the wonderful things that you bring into this world. A very good Shabbos.